Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Grommon, and today I'm going to be discussing the Dartmouth versus Woodward case for the Marshall Project. A little bit about the case. Its full name is the Trustees of Dartmouth College versus Woodward. Its date ranged from March 12, 1818 to almost a full year later in February 25th, 1819 when the case fully ended. The Chief Justice was John Marshall. The plaintiff was the Board of Trustees of Dartmouth College, and the defendant was William H. Woodward. And the main question that they were trying to solve was whether or not New Hampshire legislature was unconstitutionally interfering with the college's rights under the contract clause. The whole reason that this thing is going about, and I guess a little bit of before it happened, there was a guy named John Wheelock who was the second president of the college, and he was assigned the task to rebuild the college's finances and resources after the Revolutionary War had ended. And a crisis point broke out when Dartmouth College and John Wheelock had a dispute over whether or not they should enroll, I don't know, who would preside as minister of the Old White Church. John Wheelock was in favor of keeping the minister that they had, John Smith, and the Dartmouth College did not agree with that. As a result, they removed Wheelock in 1815 due to the controversy, and he pettily persuaded the governor of New Hampshire to lawfully amend the college's royal charter given by King George III in 1796. So he basically wanted the governor of New Hampshire to make the college public, and they didn't agree with that very much. But New Hampshire and John Wheelock wanted to do this for two reasons. They were really trying to, I guess, be prideful, or I don't know. They really wanted to start enforcing the free government. After gaining independence from the mother country, the governor of New Hampshire, Governor Plummer, thought that the continuous use of the charter was hostile to the spirit of free government. So, in terms, they thought that promoting public education was the New Hampshire's best approach to stray away from that monarchy principles. And what I would argue is the most important reason, or why they did this, is because of the political conflict. Due to that religious disagreement, it kind of split them into two political parties, and which we've seen before, but New Hampshire, who was more of a Republican, they wanted to have more control in favor of that. And in terms, they wanted to take the power away from the Federalists, aligned with the trustees of Dartmouth. So they thought by removing the right to private college, they would in terms remove the trustees, and they would be able to have more power over the college. So they would have more jurisdiction and so forth. The Supreme Court ended up saying in a 5-1 decision that the Royal Charter was a contract protected by the Constitution's contract clause. Sorry, that's a mouthful. Which essentially prevented New Hampshire from altering it to make the college a public institution. What this means, in I guess more simple terms, is that it prevents the states from violating contracts with private or public corporations. And the court decided that the college is a corporate charter qualified as a contract between private parties in which the legislature could not interfere. Chief Justice Marshall's opinion on this kind of illuminated the term that contract refers to transactions involving individual property rights, not the political relations between the government and its citizens. So that's why I was saying that I think on the why they wanted to do this, number 2 was most accurate, but I guess that's up for discussion. A little bit about that article, I bolded the parts that I would agree is the most important. No state shall law impairing the obligation of contracts. So basically what the Supreme Court was saying, no, you're not allowed to do that. This matters and is relevant today because it protects the private corporations by limiting the state government through the Constitution, which allows for the promotion of economic growth and security. Also, something I didn't know that I thought was kind of cool when I was doing the research over this, Dartmouth still refers to themselves as a college. They do not use university, which isn't that crazy, but it's a little insane to think that after all this time has passed, they're still private and they're still basically the same ideas of what was going on. Anyways, these are my works cited, but thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.